What is cracking, folks? It is I, CFK Kuro, here to bring you some more TEW 2016 WCW. It lives again. I have not recorded in
forever.
like for Rizzle, like for Shizzle. It's been like 2 months, maybe. I've been putting out videos I recorded a long time ago. Slowly but surely. Matter of fact, when you guys see this video, it will be a month later. Just crazy, man. But there'll be some other cool stuff happening. Or had happened. Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's just get right into the show. I've been held up for various reasons, including work being a uncomfortable situation and compromise. But let's get right to what you're here for. TEW. WCW. Let's go. The show opens with Eric Bischoff explaining the plan going forward between now and the Bash, involving the World Heavyweight Championship title match. Bischoff explains that Jeff Jarrett and Booker T will each pick opponents for the other to face next week and the week following. And the week following that, there will be a tag team match in the main event between the partners and the person who chose them. Flip a coin to decide who goes first, and Booker wins the coin toss. So next week, Jeff Jarrett will face off against an opponent of Booker T's choosing. Additionally, Booker T will be able to choose a stipulation for the World Heavyweight Championship match at the Bash. However, in addition to whatever the compromise or the stipulation is, Ric Flair, Mark Jindrak, and AJ Styles are all banned from ringside. And if any of them are to interfere in the match, then Jeff Jarrett relinquishes the title and forfeits it to Booker T. So, Jeff Jarrett, of course, is very upset about, the very specifics of this. But nevertheless, he says it doesn't matter to him, because he's still going to wipe the floor with Booker T. Anybody who chooses to pick for him, or anybody Booker chooses to fight for him, anybody else in the WCW locker room, because he's the chosen one. And with that, the show is on. The first match of the show, and about that decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. Colt Cabana defeated Hernandez, not by pinfall. God damn it. No. Bam. Colt Cabana defeated Hernandez in 7:34. During the match, Chuck Palumbo and Sean Stasiak run in and attack Colt Cabana, thus causing the match to end prematurely by outside interference. The $1 Million Corporation proceed to continuously put the boots to Colt Cabana until CM Punk runs out for the save. When Punk approaches or appears from out behind the stage, Palumbo and Stasiak make a hightail for it, but not before Stacy Keibler leaves a farewell message to Punk, saying that if he wants to join the corporation, the door is always open for a talent as fine as yourself. Quote DiBiase. Backstage, Hernandez is being interviewed by Gene Okerlund, challenging Hugh Morris to a hardcore championship match. I guess next week. Let me pencil that in real quick. Okay. However, midway through the interview, Jamie Noble and Nydia come and interrupt, asking where Animal's locker room is. Gene points them to the right direction, and they are off. In a terrible match, Ernest the Cat Miller defeats local talent Antonio Thomas with a feedliner. Who? Gimmick change. Personal trainer. Personal trainer? Why? Why did I change that to that? On his way to the back, Ernest the Cat Miller catches Gangrel trying to corner Lillian Garcia. He scares, well, he gets between the two, and Gangrel slithers away, leaving Garcia, I don't know, somewhat shaken, but not completely stirred. Just change the gimmick. Very good. Maybe he offers Lillian Garcia some personal training lessons. I don't know. Personal fitness something. I don't know. Self-defense lessons. Yeah. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Why my words just fumbling out of my mouth. In about that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. Samoa Joe and the League of Nations defeat Alex Wright in 5:46 when Samoa Joe beat up Alex Wright so badly that the ref had to stop the match. It was supposed to have been a 2-on-3 handicap match, but of course, once again, Disco Inferno no-showed. After the match, the League of Nations continued to talk trash about America and Alex Wright, but that's when America's Most Wanted, James Storm and Chris Harris, walk on out. They said, ain't no foreigners coming out here to talk smack about the great old US of A. You know, we know about how tough America is, because we're America's Most Wanted. And if you got anything you want to say about it, come up and say it to our faces. And with that, the League of Nations kind of storm off. Well, not storm off. They kind of slid their way, but Samoa Joe stands for a moment, staring them down, before he also follows Lance and Kaz's motion. Turn, very quick turn. Because one of them has been a heel the entire time. One of them has been a face the entire time. I never bothered switching it up. So now, committing, they're both faces. Backstage, Chavo Guerrero Jr. walks to Rey Mysterio backstage and kind of pokes at him that Rey does not get a title shot at the next pay-per-view, the Bash, and that he does for the Cruiserweight Championship. They kind of bicker a little bit before the Hurricane walks in. He's like, Rey Mysterio Jr. and my opponent, Chavo Guerrero Jr. How are you folks doing today? What's this? Is there a discord amongst you two? Aha! I have a solution to all of your... Why am I... This it's a little bit too far. I have a solution to your follies. How about me and Rey take on you, Chavo, and a partner of your choosing? He said, I think me and Rey make a very fine team. Of course, Rey points out that they've tagged together 2 times, and both times they lost. But of course, the Hurricane is like, 3rd time's the charm, good buddy. And Chavo kind of just smirks and walks off. So I guess that's the match. Then, in a good match, Sting defeated Greed in 909 by submission with a Scorpion Deathlock. During the match, Envy runs out and distracts Greed, which allows Sting to, lock in the Deathlock. Sting makes title defense number 6 of the WCW World Television title. And then afterwards, Envy drops Greed with the curtain call and cuts a promo on Wrath, saying that Wrath is no longer the boss of him. Wrath will no longer keep him down. It is his opportunity to grow, to flourish, to expand his horizons. Wrath, if you want to continue to put me and other people down, you're going to have to put me down for good. Noble and Nydia are busy rummaging through Animal's old gear in his locker room, trying to find stuff to sell for a quick buck, when Mike Sanders finds them. Basically asks, what are you guys doing? This is obviously not your locker room. This is Animal and above average's locker room. You're not Animal, and you're definitely below average. Well, Nydia, you might be average, but Noble definitely below average. So you guys are gonna need to get out of here before Animal shows up. And Noble's like, man, hey, what was that? Noble's like, well, Animal, he got all this old gear. I'm certain he don't need none of it. So I'll just be taking a little bit of it. You ain't got to make no big deal of it. And they're like grabbing handfuls of like old shoes and bottles of face paint. And when they run to the door, they open it only to run directly into Animal. Noble and Nydia kind of drop their stuff and run by him. What's that? In an extremely short match, Mark Jindrak defeats local talent Hade Vanson. Why is his name Hade Vanson? I want to say Vade Hansen. Nevertheless, puts him down with mark perfection. Backstage, Wrath is in the dark room with Greed and Gluttony. Greed is a little groggy after being hit with a curtain call not too long ago, early this night. And Wrath is just very quiet. He's just sitting in his chair, all quiet, with his hands in his hands clasped together, trembling, shaking. He seems very unhinged. What does he do? He flips the table, loses it. He grabs Gluttony's crowbar, whacks him side the head, grabs Greed, hits him with the cutter, and tosses them both out of the room, or tosses them both out the light. He says that he is done with all this dead weight. You are all holding me back. You are all in the way of my rage, my wrath, my revenge. Envy, you are the last straw. I am done with insubordination. I'm done with losers. I'm done with every single last pathetic one of you. Envy, I want you at the bash inside of a steel cage, and I'm going to drag you to the darkest pits of hell to make an example out of you. That's that. We are in Eric's office, where Shane Douglas is complaining about having to qualify for World War III when Diamond Dallas Page, who lost his match at the pay-per-view and lost his tag team match last week, does not have to fight for a spot. He asks, why is that? Of course, Eric just says, you know what, Shane, it's very simple. I like Page. I don't like you. But how about this? For the sake of television, next week you will face off against Diamond Dallas Page, and if you manage to win, you may get a spot in. But if you lose, then you will... No. If you win, you'll get Page's spot. And if you lose... I guess you won't be on the show? I don't know. What does he lose? No, just say simple as that. You fight Page. If you win, you take Page's spot. How about that? And Douglas like, yeah, it's a deal. I can take on that old sack of bones, put him in the dirt. Ooh, franchise. Okay. And then in our main event, an bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Ric Flair defeated Sean O'Haire in 2052 by submission after poking Sean O'Haire in the eye. It's looking like... the finish of the match is Ric Flair has the figure 4 locked in, but Sean O'Haire is pushing himself up, dragging himself to the corner, but he turns back to push Ric Flair's arm or foot. Ric pokes him in the eye, and with that, he instinctively grabs his face, and he lets off the mat, and Flair can push back to the center. That's where he taps out. The ref doesn't see it for reasons unforeseen. 80, good show. Increase our popularity in a bunch of regions. You weren't supposed to see that one. No, this. Booker says Cabana's turned into a good worker. The kid is worth getting behind. Okay. I will see you guys at WCW Thunder. Thunder. And we are back with Thunder. The show opens with a cruiserweight tag team match between Greed and Ilk Skipper facing off against Jerry Lynn and Super Crazy. And about that decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat, Greed and Elix defeated Jerry Lynn and Super Crazy in 609 when Greed defeated Super Crazy by pinfall with a shooting star press. Afterwards, Greed says he is done with the nut jobs with the Crazies. He's going back to taking the titles that he deserves with no weights attached. As he says his promo, you can see someone peeking out from behind the curtains. Commentator Gene Oakland thinks that he sees Tori Wilson, but not entirely sure. We are entirely sure it's Tori, for reasons. Terrible match. Gangrel defeats local talent Sean Spears in 5'11 with an impaler. Afterwards, he cuts a promo saying that he is mad at Ernest the Cat Miller for getting in the way of a meal, and he promises to do away with him sooner or later. Backstage, Lillian Garcia is very nervous and shaken up, but she's still there to interview Diamond Dallas Page. Page says he's not worried at all about losing to Shane Douglas. He says he's looking forward to winning World War III and becoming the next WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Bang. Subpar Wrestling, Little Heat. Hernandez defeats C.W. Anderson in 359 by submission. Afterwards, he demands that Hugh Morris makes his response for his title match. Of course, Hugh comes out and accepts a challenge for next week. And there it is, Hardcore Championship match, Hernandez and Hugh Morris. And in our main event, and about that good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, AJ Styles defeated BG James in 851 by pinfall with a Styles Clash. And afterwards, AJ berates BG James, saying that he's nothing more than a tag team wrestler. And also says that nobody can touch him. Not BG James, not Rey Mysterio, not nobody, because he is the future of WCW and he is simply phenomenal. And that's the show. 70. All right. Alright. Right. Oh, I can do that. Will I do that? Maybe I'll remember to. What's going on? Aguila's toned. Mike Sanders is now entertainer. C.W. Anderson's contract. Yeah. Okay, you guys see it. I signed Christopher Daniels, but he's not debuting anytime soon. So, man, what's this? Our deal with RDS. It's a medium-sized network in Canada with medium-sized risk. Do we have any other Canadian deals? The Score. Do they also cover Quebec? They do. So I don't need RDS. Yeah, I don't need them at all. Okay. Sting is still upset. Yeah. So, when we come back next time, we will have some more TEW. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye-bye.